Thank you for joining us. We're hearing from another grieving family tonight after a man wounded in that mass shooting in Etobicoke last weekend died in hospital. 46-year-old Seymour Gibbs was a father of 6. He's the second person to die following the shooting that injured 3 others. Police still have no suspects in custody. Our Tyler Cheese brings us the latest.
Nobody should die like that.
Sophia Dunn is the mother-in-law of the second person to die after a mass shooting at a North Etobicoke school over the weekend.
He just gone too soon. Leave his young baby like the baby never touched 1 year old yet. And my grandson knows if they get counseling. My grandson is shocked like I am shaky right now. So there's no more word to say when he's just gone.
Dunn identified her son-in-law as Seymour Gibbs, a 46-year-old father of 6. She says she last spoke to him Tuesday night in the hospital.
Last night when we were there talking to him like me and you right now and making joke.
Gibbs was one of the 5 people injured Sunday night when 2 suspects opened fire on a social gathering in the parking lot at North Albion Collegiate Institute before fleeing in a dark-colored truck. He died in hospital on Wednesday, but police say an autopsy is being conducted to determine cause of death. On Tuesday, Delroy George Parks was identified as the first man to die following the shooting. He died in hospital shortly after the incident. Police also say they don't believe the suspects and victims knew each other. CBC News has obtained surveillance video showing a police vehicle following a dark-colored truck in the area Sunday, then chasing suspects on foot after the truck crashes. A police source told CBC News that investigators have no direct evidence tying the truck to the shooting, but a forensic team is examining the vehicle. This woman lives near the crash site.
Me and my husband heard a loud bang, and then we look out the window and we see that the car has crashed into the blue car right behind me and rear-ended it, and then we saw the cop cars as well.
Another nearby resident provided this footage of his own truck, which he says was damaged in the chase. He wishes to remain anonymous for fear that the incident may be connected to the shooting.
When we go outside, the police car was in there with the open doors. Right. And no police inside.
Premier Doug Ford has posted a social media statement related to this shooting, writing in part, "My heart breaks for the victims and their loved ones. Enough is enough. This disturbing trend of violence in our streets has to stop." Following the shooting, police said the other 3 victims had either life-altering or non-life-threatening injuries, but no new information has been shared at this time. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
A $25,000 reward is being offered for information on a shooting at a Jewish girls' elementary school in North York. Crime Stoppers says the cash will be awarded for any tips that lead to the arrest of those responsible.
We as a community need to speak up. When we remain silent, especially when incidents like this are occurring, where people are deciding to shoot into an elementary school, when we remain silent, we're all victims. Right? We need to, step up. We need to put an end to this type of behavior.
Toronto police says shots were fired at Bays Haya Mushka on May 25th. Community leaders and elected officials denounced the shooting as an act of hate. Police say the suspects opened fire on the empty school, causing damage to the front of the building before running to a getaway vehicle. There were no reports of any injuries. Police say they've also increased patrols around other Jewish institutions. Contract talks are continuing between the city and its transit workers as the threat of Toronto's first TTC strike since 2008 looms large. If no deal is reached by Friday, nearly 12,000 TTC workers could walk off the job, bringing transit in the city to a grinding halt. City Hall reporter Sean Jeffords has everything you need to know.
Toronto's transit system is depended on by millions each day to get around the city. Intense contract talks between the TTC and its largest union could go down to the wire. The Amalgamated Transit Union says they're no closer to a deal ahead of tomorrow's midnight strike deadline.
We're going on strike. That's the easiest thing for me to tell you until things change. We are continuing to prepare to be on strike.
Alfred says wages, benefits, and job security remain major issues at the bargaining table.
We're passionate, we're upset, we're pissed off, and we're frustrated that we want, to be recognized for the value that we feel that we are entitled to have, and included the job security, which is paramount to have this addressed in contract negotiation.
This TTC spokesman says the city is committed to negotiating a fair and affordable agreement.
We know that these are complex negotiations. Any labor negotiation is, particularly when you're talking about 12,000 people operating our transit system. The union has some things that they want to accomplish. Our objective is to reach a fair agreement that's respectful of the work that they do.
But even the chair of the TTC board is advising commuters to have a plan B for Friday.
What I would tell my constituents is if you can, work from home. If you can't, looking at Go Transit or looking at carpooling. So those are also options.
If a strike happens, other services may step in to fill the void.
All of the vehicles in our fleet will be on the road. I have no doubt about that. The issue, I think, is going to be, a lot of confusion. I think there are a lot of people who do not know that this strike is happening. Drivers are telling us that when they're speaking to people about it.
And it's clear not everyone knows about the possible strike.
Is it? Oh, yeah, I think I heard about this. So what would be your plan to get around? Thankfully, I usually commute in Mississauga. Oh my God, I've actually not thought this far ahead. I have no idea what I'll do.
I'm gonna have to find a bicycle. Oh my God. That's great. Thank you for telling me. Oh my God.
I suppose that I will walk to work. I don't know how, but it will be like 1 hour, maybe, but I don't have any other plan.
The TTC and the union say they will continue bargaining into the evening tomorrow night and possibly even past the 12:01 deadline Friday morning. Sean Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, so in 2011, Ontario's then Liberal government passed a law making the TTC an essential service, removing workers' ability to strike. Then last year, a judge deemed it unconstitutional and overturned that law. And then last month, the Ford government lost an appeal to revive it. The Premier was asked today whether he'll legislate transit employees back to work in the event of a strike.
That's hypothetical. Let's first hope and pray that they don't go on strike. So. Again, I believe it was an essential service. I believed in 2010 when Rob came to the office that he made the essential service. And you know what's amazing? When we voted on that at the city, and you were down there, we never heard any problems for 14 years now. Now this has cropped up, but it's going to hurt the public, and anything that hurts the public I'm not in favor of.
Over to Hamilton now, where McMaster Children's Hospital has confirmed the deaths of 2 children following tonsil and adenoid surgeries. The hospital says it's pausing such procedures as a precaution. In a news release, Hamilton Health Services says 1 child passed away the day after their surgery, and the second child passed away 9 days after their initial surgery. We want to extend our deepest condolences to these families. The hospital says surgeries were paused as of yesterday, and while there is no apparent connection between the cases, it's also undertaking a comprehensive review of its pediatric program for tonsil and adenoid surgeries. Emergency surgeries are still taking place. Welcome back. We got some good news today from the Bank of Canada for anybody struggling with the high cost of borrowing. The central bank has reduced its key interest rate to 4.75%, a drop of 25 basis points. Bank of Canada Governor Tiff Macklem says high rates have successfully helped rein in inflation back down within the bank's target range between 1% and 3%. Plus, he said other economic factors like economic growth and job vacancies also show inflation should continue to decline. Macklem says if these factors continue along their current course, further rate cuts can be expected. And high interest rates have been blamed for the slowdown in new home construction in our province. Queen's Park reporter Lorenda Redekop takes a look at whether today's cut could signal change.
I say to the Bank of Canada, it's about time. Now we look forward to more cuts.
No surprise, Premier Doug Ford was happy with the rate cut. Over the past months, he's taken the unusual step of writing open letters to the Governor of the Bank of Canada, asking for the increases to stop. His reason?
I believe that when you lower the interest rates, the homes will pop up like mushrooms all over the place.
His government has lagged way behind its target for building new homes. For the month of April, housing starts were at their lowest since 2018. The housing minister expects those to quickly tick up again due to the lower interest rate.
I think you will start to see people moving forward almost immediately.
And he believes more cuts will come.
So I think you will start to see some of those home builders that were on the sideline getting back in.
But one economist cautions that interest rates aren't the only factor affecting the pace of home building. Construction costs are still high, and the industry has a labor shortage.
So there's a variety of different factors that are still holding back construction. And so we think it'll take a little bit more time for us to see a pickup in housing starts.
Another reason it could still take a while for more builders to start digging. The Ontario Home Builders Association says projects take 2 to 3 years to plan.
But as I said, I think just like home buyers, builders are going to need to see a couple more decreases before there's that true optimism that's going to make them go back to the project planning stage.
But he sees this first interest rate cut in 4 years as a good sign. The opposition's reaction to the Bank of Canada's decision?
I don't think that the Premier's letters really had much to do with this.
And she says the government has to change its housing policy in order to increase building more.
Government needs to get back into the business of building that non-market housing, or we're never going to kickstart this.
That's not in this government's plans.
I declare the motion carried.
This all came on the same day the new housing bill passed. That's the Ford government's vision to spur more building. It includes use it or lose it rules for developers and gives universities more power to build student housing. Lorenda Redicop, CBC News, Toronto.
New figures show Premier Doug Ford's PCs have built up a big surplus in his party's coffer. The money puts the Progressive Conservatives in far better financial shape to contest an election than any of their rivals. Our senior reporter at Queen's Park, Mike Crawley, has that story.
Hi, it's Doug Ford. Just giving you a call back.
You've probably seen this political ad. Doug Ford's PC party has been paying for airtime in choice time slots, like the Stanley Cup playoffs and Blue Jays games.
Bonnie Crombie? Oh, the new Ontario Liberal leader.
There's this attack ad from the PCs as well. So why is Ford's party flooding the airwaves when we're nowhere near an election campaign?
This is a chance for the Premier to define his opponent. In this case, the targeted opponent is Bonnie Crombie as the new leader of the Ontario Liberal Party. And this also lets the Premier establish his own brand.
Ford's PCs have money to spend on ads because they've built up a huge surplus in party coffers since winning the 2022 election. New figures show the PCs raised nearly $8 million in donations last year. That's more than the NDP, Liberals, and Green Party put together. It's why you're not seeing the opposition parties running TV ads promoting their leaders. They just don't have the money.
Getting it done for the people.
Ford's opponents are downplaying his fundraising lead.
We will have the money we need to fight an election whenever it is called. We are gearing up.
Our donors tend to be smaller donors, and we have a lot more of them. And we're going to keep raising money.
But the opposition parties will face a new financial obstacle next year. The government is scrapping the taxpayer-funded subsidy that has given each of the main parties several $1 million every year. In fact, in 2023, the NDP and Liberals each got more from that subsidy than they got from donors. Add it all up, it gives Ford's PCs a big advantage should he call an election ahead of schedule.
I think the signs are there for an early election. You've got the majority government that is ahead in the polls, an opposition that has yet to define itself, a healthy nest egg from which to build political ads and have a really well-run, efficient campaign.
A campaign that could come as early as next spring. Mike Crawley, CBC News, Toronto.
In Mississauga, more than 24,000 people have cast their ballots early ahead of Monday's mayoral by-election. One of the more contentious issues that surfaced is bike lanes, and the city plans to reduce the Bloor Street corridor from 4 lanes to 3 in order to add cycling infrastructure. Dale Manukduk has more on how the issue is dividing people.
The nearly 5-kilometer stretch of Bloor Street in Mississauga is a busy one, with public transit, garbage trucks, personal vehicles, bicycles, and more sharing the 4-lane road. This fall, the city is set to reduce it from 2 lanes in each direction to 1, with a center lane used for turns. It also plans to add bike lanes.
The community just needs bike lanes, and I don't see why we need 4 lanes.
I just ran into a biker who was actually
riding his bike on the street and not in the bike lane. So what's the point of this?
I think it's important to create living, breathing streets, not just thoroughfares for cars.
The city says it's about more than adding bike lanes.
Improvements for pedestrians with wider sidewalks, better crossings of intersections with enhanced pavement markings, narrower intersections, narrowing lane widths to reduce speeds.
Council voted the plan through last year, 6 in favor, 4 against, and 2 absent. Wright says community consultation was done, but couldn't specify how many residents took part.
Last community meeting number 4, held by the city, there was 85 attendees, but I think 100 sign-ins.
Kim Pikes is part of the local residents association, which distributed signs opposed to the lane reduction and started a petition to stop the redesign. It's generated over 4,500 signatures.
Physically boots on the ground, knocking on doors, and standing in the plaza getting signatures. Even yesterday, I was out yesterday, and people said, they're doing what? They still don't know.
This cyclist, also part of the Residents Association, isn't in favor of the change.
There's cycling routes already, cycling paths on Burnhamthorpe, parallel routes also on Queensway. Dundas Street's about to go a major transformation. It's going to include bike lanes also.
But other cyclists point out that it makes it safer for everyone.
The 3-lane configuration allows through traffic to stay in one lane. There are turn lanes, and it makes it safer for everybody. So, and it should result in reduced speeds as well, which I think is a problem.
Mayoral candidates are like a traffic light. Some want the project to go ahead.
I voted for this. It's been approved by City Council over a year ago. We need to build safe, separated bike and cycling and wheel infrastructure across the city of Mississauga.
Others want to proceed with caution.
Maybe this is a time to take a pause. I'll put forward a motion because I voted in the affirmative, so I am able to do it.
While some want it stopped completely.
The city has in front of it about 1,000 new apartment units that are going to be built at some point here in and around Bloor Street. And the city is asking these developers to build about 1,200 parking spots for these 1,000 new units. So this is a tacit admission by the city that these new families who are going to make their home here are going to need cars.
Election day is June 10th. Dale Manuktuk, CBC News, Mississauga.
Back in Toronto, the popular shipping container market is sticking around and expanding. Stacked Market near Bathurst and Front will be extending its lease for another 10 years.
There's been somewhat of a gap, we felt, where there was an opportunity being missed in retail to have some of these small businesses actually get a chance to test out retail without a huge commitment in there, which has been great. And that was a big part where we saw so many of these businesses have success here at the flagship and go and open, a second and third location.
The move comes 5 years after the modular market opened in 2019. Made up of more than 120 shipping containers, the space has been a hotspot for small business pop-ups, offering retail, studio, and event spaces. The extension means it'll be around until at least 2034, and the market will also be expanding to Ottawa, Calgary, and Vancouver later this year. Boeing's Starliner spacecraft successfully launched from Cape Canaveral, Florida today. It is the program's first mission with a human crew.
3, 2, 1, ignition. And liftoff of Starliner at Atlas V.
All right, and there it goes on its way to the International Space Station, where 2 astronauts will spend a little more than a week before returning back here to Earth. The Starliner was developed in partnership with NASA. In 2014, NASA gave contracts to both SpaceX and Boeing to provide a new spacecraft capable of ferrying astronauts to the space station. SpaceX successfully began sending astronauts to the International Space Station in 2020, and Boeing's program has faced several setbacks and major cost overruns. All right, back here on Earth, and let's look live at the city right now. We are dealing with a bit of unsettled weather right across the region, though it looks pretty calm there on this shot. Environment Canada had issued a severe thunderstorm watch, but that was lifted around 10 o'clock. Still, Victa, a good chance people will be dealing with some thunder and lightning through the overnight tonight.
Chris, you are right. That thunder finally reached the GTA right around 10, 11 o'clock p.m. and it's going to last all the way through to about 5 o'clock tonight. Anywhere from 10 to 20 millimeters of rain will fall, and with that rain, eventually things will start to cool down across the entire Greater Toronto area. Now, that thunder, if you do hear roar, you want to head indoors. We talked about the majority of it starting around 9, 10 o'clock, and it's going to be lasting all the way through to about 5 o'clock in the morning. Now, that overnight hot, muggy, humid weather we've been experiencing over the last couple of nights is finally going to come to an end by the time the weekend arrives, because that cooling down will be brought by a lot of the scattered showers we'll be experiencing over the weekend. Now, average temperatures this time of year, 22.4 is your average high, 10.3 is your average low. So if you remember those two numbers looking at our 3 and 5 day forecast, you'll notice how below seasonal things will get. Now, areas such as BC, Alberta, as well as Saskatchewan, Manitoba are going through more seasonal temperatures. Not so much red and orange like we are over here in Ontario, because we've been going through a stretch of above seasonal temperatures. Looking at those daily average highs around 22, and if you see a day where Ottawa's at 37, Toronto 31, Windsor 36, well, it's safe to say we are well above seasonal. Now, here's what's happening when it comes to tomorrow's temperatures. Tomorrow morning, it's going to be around 15 in London, 18 in Toronto. It's going to be 18 in Peterborough. As we get later on in towards your day, things will start to warm up. But when they do get later on in the day, one thing we're going to expect around 2 o'clock is some more rain. Now, similar to today, a lot of this rain which passed by was in the afternoon. This is going to be what's passing by during the overnight after the late show. But once it's all said and done, there will be some periods where it'll just be some increased cloud cover. But mixed in with that increased cloud cover will be some more waves of rain working its way in. That's transition between rain and cloud cover and no rain and scattered showers over the next 3 to 4 days is what's going to be consistent when it comes to the weather, what you're going to be expecting. Hard to plan around, but one thing you should do for sure is try to pack an umbrella and make sure if you do hear that thunder roar in some circumstances, you head indoors right away. Now, as we talked about, expecting 10 to 15 millimeters of rain to fall. And looking at our 3 and 5 day forecast, we can see that we're in store for some more rain on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. But Monday, we're going to get a bit of a break from all of that rain and return of seasonal temperatures. Hope you have a great night, and over to you, Chris.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. All right, thank you, Victor. And that's our show for you tonight. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great night.